Okay, Christina, thank you for joining us today and doing this module for our new owners and existing owners that may want to sign up with Advancial in the future. So I'll let you take it away, just kind of go into Advancial and the program, and I'll ask a few questions as we go along.
Sounds good. Thank you, Savannah. So my name is Christina Perez. I am with Advancial Federal Credit Union, and we have partnered with Floor Coverings International to offer our customer financing program to franchise owners as a financing solution for your business. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about what the program benefits are, how the process actually works, walk you through that entire way. And then I'll talk a little bit about Advancial, who we are, how we got our start, and give you some contact information so that way you have people that you can reach out to once you do get set up that can help you walk you through the process, and you can give that information to your customers as well. So let's get started. So first off, our financing program basically has repurposed our Visa Rewards Plus card into a customer financing solution. So it has a 0% introductory rate for 12 months. That means 0% interest. It's not retroactive. It's not accumulating. It's truly 0% for the 12 months. After the 12-month promotional period is over, interest will range between 8.9 and 14.9%. And that kicks in on day one of year two. So if you have a customer that is financing $10,000 and they pay that $10,000 over that 12-month period and then carry $2,000 of that balance over into year two, the 8.9 to 14.9 will only apply to the $2,000 carried over. So additionally, with this program, there's no minimum purchases amounts, no annual fees, no penalty rates. So that means the rate that your customer is qualified for is the rate that they're going to be locked in at. So even if they make a late payment or they miss a payment, we're not going to raise their interest rate on them as a penalty. It's going to stay at that 8.9 to 14.9% range. Additionally, there's no foreign transaction fees, and there's also no cash advance or balance transfer fees as well. So very low interest, hardly any fees associated with this card. And then one other feature that's not mentioned on this slide is that it does earn points. So for every transaction, they will earn dollar for dollar points that they can cash in for airline tickets, for car rentals, for cash back, gift cards, things like that. So we have an entire online store where your customers, once they have begin to use their card, can log in and then cash those points in.
So, nice. And Christina, I know just before you leave this slide, for anyone watching this recording, this is a huge benefit to your business.
Absolutely.
With the 0%, at 12 months, this is a huge benefit for you and your customers. We're trying to provide that solution for your customer. So thinking of how to help the customer and provide them with the solution, not necessarily how you would make the purchase, but how your customer, how we need to help them make the purchase. So this is a huge tool and a huge benefit. So I don't want it to be a super sales pitch, but definitely sign up for Advancial. This will be a huge benefit for your business.
We've designed our program for it to be a win-win for every single party that's involved. So the business is able to make the sale for someone that may not have the cash on hand to pay out of pocket. We're gaining a new member that we might not necessarily have access to. And then the customer is receiving a product that is not going to, fee them to death or have a huge interest rate that's going to make it hard for them to pay back their financing. And so it's really a great introductory product to have. That's really an Advancial motto, is that we want to provide top of the line products to our members with as little fees as possible. So this is really, some other credit cards, 14.9 is lower than their starting interest rate. So it's really a great product to have in hand, and it's not going to break the bank for your customers as well.
Perfect.
All right, so business benefits. Probably the biggest benefit that I can mention about this program is that it's at no cost to your business. So some other financing companies, they may charge you a portion of the financing, or they may even charge a flat fee. We don't have any of that associated with this program. So we don't have volume requirements. We don't have any setup fees. And then none of the financing is deducted from the payment that we send to the business. And so essentially what we do is as soon as you have a customer that's approved and we book your loan, we are able to make that payment back to the business at 100%. We give you the flexibility to choose whether or not you want 100% payment up front, and we will work with you through the entire process to make sure that we can get you paid as quickly as possible. So that will eliminate purchase delays. It'll help free up cash flow, things like that. So this program, it's super simple and easy, but it is a big benefit to your business because we're not cutting out of your bottom line, and then we're helping to get you paid pretty quickly.
Right, right. Nice.
So how the program works. So once you've contacted me, I will ask you for some basic information for each location or your owner location. Once you send all of that back to me, we will get you set up in our system. One of the first things that we build for you is a custom web page. And that will be co-branded with the Floor Coverings International logo, and it will have a merchant ID that's assigned to every single owner location. And so whenever you have a customer, you direct them directly to this website. There is a green Apply Now button that the customer will click, and they will be taken into our online application. It is a pretty standard credit application. It's going to ask them for things like their name, social security number, birth date, address, income information, things like that. So most should be familiar if they've applied for credit before with the application, and shouldn't have too many issues filling that out.
And
Once
Christine,
yes.
do you recommend, I know we use the tablet in the home. Do you recommend they use the tablet or the customer uses their phone? Do you have a recommendation there?
Either one. So the web page is going to be compatible on both desktop as well as mobile devices. And the brochures that we will set up every single location with will also have a QR code on the back that's linked to their custom web page. So it is easy just to have a phone or a tablet on hand to scan that QR code and take your customer directly to their custom web page. I do recommend, though, I know, and some customers may need help filling out the application, and that's completely fine. But we do recommend that the customer actually complete the application on their own, because at the end of the application, once they hit the submit button, a pop-up screen will appear, and they will actually ask them to sign on glass with their finger. So we're able to capture their signature that way. So we do want to make sure that at least the application is completed there with the customer so they can sign once the application is submitted.
Perfect, perfect. And Christina, my Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, so I'll go off video and mute for just a second. You can keep going. I'm going to plug in my Ethernet cable.
Okay, sounds good. So once the application is submitted, the application or your customer will receive one of two messages on their screen. If they receive an automatic approval, a message will pop up saying, "Congratulations, you've been approved." It will show them the terms of their financing, so what the limit of their credit card will be, what the interest rate they will receive after the 0% financing promotional period is over, and then it'll ask them to agree to the terms and conditions. They will check, that they agree, submit it, and then they'll receive a message that says someone will be in contact with them shortly, and their credit card will be received in the mail within 7 to 10 business days. If they do not receive an automatic approval, the next message that they will see is, "Thank you for submitting your application. An Advancial representative will be in contact with you shortly." And so what that means is that the application has actually been routed to our lending department for an underwriter to manually look at the application and make a decision. So basic credit scoring information that we need in order to qualify someone is a FICO score between 660 and 680. And really the FICO score is just a preliminary review to determine whether or not we're going to consider them for credit. And then it also determines which interest rate bracket they fall into. So will they be receiving 8.9 or will they be receiving 14.9 or somewhere in between? But there's two other pieces that we look at when considering someone for credit, and that is their debt to income ratio as well as their credit history. So when we look at their credit history, anything like a bankruptcy, repossession, accounts that are in collection, things like that are going to automatically get that applicant a denial. So we do not approve anybody that has what we call derogatory marks on their credit history. And then another big factor in our decision making is debt to income ratio. And so this is where a lot of times some of my owners kind of get tripped up on this, because someone may apply that has a 750 credit score, but they may have a debt to income ratio that is overextending them, especially when we're looking at revolving debt, not so much with like a mortgage or a car loan or anything like that. If they have a lot of revolving debt, like a credit card out there, and even though they may have a great credit score, we're not going to approve someone that's going to, you know, put them in over their heads as far as debt obligations that they're going to have to repay. And so that's something I really stress, because you know, we have had some partners that have come back and said, I don't understand how this person is being denied when they have this credit score. And it's, well, there's other factors that are taken into account as well. And so that's definitely something that we consider, and we will try and work with each customer, even though they may receive a denial. First, going off, the branch representatives will look at the notes that the lending officers make. And if we see that there may be some wiggle room there, maybe we just need to add a co-borrower to add income to try and lower that debt to income ratio, we will reach out to the customer to see if we can add that to their application and hopefully reconsider them for approval. Perfect. So that happens in step 2. We typically have a lending decision made within about an hour. So there's fairly quick turnaround there, even if someone does not receive an automatic approval.
Great. And just a reminder for our new owners, when you flip the price and payment sheet in the home, and if someone says yes, and you've essentially landed your job, this process is happening before you leave the home. So just a reminder for new owners, approval should come back, or, you know, denial should come back before you leave the home. So you'll know what your next steps should be, should someone be approved or denied.
And I also recommend if you have a customer, you know, that you have an appointment with and they know that they're going to want to apply for financing, to go ahead and send them their URL to their custom page ahead of time. So that way they can go ahead and submit their application and hopefully have an answer even before you get on site and are doing an estimation for them.
Yeah, this is a great tool to bring into your setup call. So when you're calling the customer to confirm the appointment, get them excited about the appointment, giving them the expectations of what our appointments look like in the home. You could lead, you know, maybe midway through your setup call and ask them about financing if you'd like, or payment options, as we call it, the prettier term. Sometimes the word financing is a turnoff for some people.
That's scary.
Some customers, yes. So you could definitely, if they say yes, that they are interested in payment options, you know, that 0% 12 months, you can definitely lead with that caveat as well. You could send them your webpage link, go ahead and they can get pre-approved. They may put in the amount, say it's $20,000, you know, so then you'll have an idea when, you know, when you get in the home and you're running the appointment and what product you're pulling for the customer. Yep.
Absolutely. So once a decision has been made, an Advancial representative will reach out to both the customer as well as the franchise owner. And so we have a branch here in the Dallas area who is dedicated to opening all of these accounts. And so they will actually call and email the customer and the owner to let them know what the decision is. Now, let me kind of preface that with, we have a merchant portal that all owners are set up with. They'll have login credentials for the portal. And this portal is actually tied into our lending platform. And so whenever a decision has been made and that lending platform is updated with the application status, that change is also made in the portal. So I will stress that it's probably, if you're kind of in a hurry to see what the decision on the application is going to be, I definitely recommend checking the portal first, just because if we have a day where we're receiving a high number of applications for that day, the branch is going to reach out to everybody in the order that they receive those applications and in the order that they receive the decision. So the portal may actually be updated with an application status prior to the branch reaching out to the customer and to the franchise owner. So definitely recommend utilizing that tool, because you may be able to find out application statuses prior to receiving a phone call or an email from an Advancial representative. So definitely important there. Once we have made a decision, and once the Advancial representative has reached out to you, at that point, we will walk you through the entire process. There's different stages of approval. And so but once we approve somebody, there's no going back. It's not like we're going to reverse the decision and deny them. So as a business, if you want to go ahead and move forward with ordering materials, things like that, you're more than welcome to do so. I will tell you this, we can have someone approved and their loan booked within an hour that same day. Or it may take a couple of days in order to get them to that approved and booked process or status, excuse me. And so the reason for that is let's say someone has filled out an application, they're self-employed, they've put in their income information on there, but our lending department, they've given them that pre-approval, and the merchant portal will show an approved funding status. And so most of the time in a situation like that, our lending department is going to require proof of income. And so there will be times where you will see someone that's been approved and that their loan has been sitting in this approved funding status. And that means that we are expecting some sort of documentation, an additional signature, something like that. If we've gone back to add a co-borrower, or maybe we have counter offered a different limit amount, things like that, we may need an additional signature, additional information. And so if it's sitting in there for 2 or 3 days, that typically means that the customer hasn't been responsive to us. So, if you see that, you may want to reach out to your customer and say, hey, I see that your financing has not been booked yet. Advancial is probably trying to get in contact with you. Will you please reach out to them to let them know, to see what it is they need? We will always, reach out to the customer. It's not like we're just going to leave that status in there. We're going to try and make multiple attempts to reach them. But sometimes, our emails may be going to spam, or voicemail boxes may be full, things like that. So it may be helpful as the franchise owner to just kind of tap your customer for us and get the ball moving there, because the only way for us to pay you is for that loan to be in that approved and booked status. So once you see that approved and booked status, the Advancial representative will contact you and ask you to either email them directly an invoice showing the total amount that is owed to you by the customer. You can also upload that invoice into the merchant portal. And then once we receive that, then we're able to go ahead and get you paid, and we can pay you either by check that we will overnight to you, or if you'd like to set up ACH payments, we can direct deposit into your preferred bank account that we will set up on our end. And so super simple and easy. I will mention this, every single application that we receive that gets an approval, we are required by NCUA to open them a savings account, which establishes membership with the credit union. There is a $5 initial deposit in order to open that savings account. And so instead of requiring the customer to actually input a debit card or some form of payment in the application, what we do is we just deduct that from the check or the ACH payment that we send to the owner. And so that way it just kind of makes that process easier. However, as the franchise owner, you are able to add that $5 back into the invoice that you're going to send us. So that way you're not having to come out of pocket to pay the $5 for your customer. So just, just to be completely transparent, it's not a fee that goes into their savings account. It stays in there for the life of the account, and it allows your customer to become a member of Advancial and to utilize any of our other products and services. And so you don't have to pay that out of pocket. You're definitely welcome to add that back into the invoice. And then once we've gotten you paid, we will order the Visa Rewards Plus card for your customer, and they will receive that in the mail about 7 to 10 business days later. So just another FYI, once you request payment, that is when we do the initial transfer onto the card. That starts the time clock for the 0% interest for 12 months. And so I definitely recommend waiting for that payment until you're ready to start the job. So that way, your customer isn't waiting 2 or 3 weeks, to receive, to start the job, and they're already, the time clock on their 0% interest is already, counting down. So just kind of a little bit of advice there.
Perfect. Yep, pretty clear. Yeah, with the steps. So that's, if y'all have any questions, definitely reach out to Advancial. If you need to have a call, to deep dive.
Absolutely.
Through it, you can always reach out. And they can have a one-on-one with you, just like I am with Christina now. And if you need more explanation or a deeper dive, she can definitely help you with that.
Absolutely. And our branch is really good about walking everyone through the steps as well, especially if you're sending, your first or second customer to us and are not familiar with it, they'll definitely help you through the entire process.
Perfect.
So I've mentioned before that we have a merchant portal. So everyone will receive login credentials for our portal. This is a really great tool because, like I mentioned, it's going to have the most up-to-date application statuses in here. You can upload your invoices to this portal, so that way you're not having to wait on anybody to send that via email. And then you're also, if you're set up for ACH payments, the portal allows you to request your ACH payment once your customer's loan status is showing as approved and booked. Additionally, the portal will have contact information for the branch, their hours, things like that. So there's a plethora of information in there, and it's a really good tool and resource to use. So I will set all of that up for everybody. And once we have your custom page built, I will send you an email with all of the information that you will need in order to be able to refer your first customer.
And Christina, with the app, or not the app, the portal, is there an app, or is it just through the browser?
There's not an app right now, but I will send the URL. So if you want to save it somewhere on your phone, or if you want to bookmark the URL inside like your browser, things like that, and then save your login credentials someplace. That way you can have it on the go if it's going to be on your phone or a tablet, and it'll make it easier for you to just log in really quick and check the statuses of your applications that have been submitted. One thing I will say is that when you first log into the portal, the view of the portal will always default to today. So if you haven't had any customers submit an application that day, you'll log in and it'll show up blank. So you do have to kind of filter out either, I think it goes last 7 days, last 30 days, and last 90 days. So if you've had past applications, a week ago, then you'll want to click that last 7 days checkbox. So that way it filters your view and it'll show you all the applications that have come in for the last 7 days. So I do have merchants reach out to me and they're like, I don't see anything in the portal. And that's just because it always defaults to that today view to show you the most recent applications that have come in.
Perfect.
Additionally, Advancial provides all the marketing materials that you'll need for this program. We get you set up with the merchant portal, your custom webpage, and then this brochure. Those are the 3 standard things that we get everyone set up with. This brochure is what you're going to actually be able to hand to the customer and leave behind. It talks all about the program. It goes over the interest rates, the annual fees, all that kind of stuff that we've already talked about today on this presentation. And then it gives them the steps to apply. And then, like I mentioned, on the back of that brochure, it's going to have your URL not only printed so that someone could actually type it in if they wanted to, but it's going to have that QR code there on the back that's already going to be linked to that custom web page. So that way, if you scan it or if your customer scans it with their camera app on their phone or tablet, it'll take them directly to your page and it'll allow them to apply. So we get everyone set up with the supply of these. We create this typically around the same time that we're creating the brochure, and then we send it to our printer, who will print off a supply and ship directly to you. So it's shipped by FedEx. So we do have to have a physical mailing address on file. We can't have a PO box because FedEx will not deliver to a PO box.
Right.
And then whenever you run out of these, just let me know, and I will place an order with marketing, who will then, repeat the process of having them printed and shipped to you. So
and these are really nice. I've actually seen them. I saw them with the July 2023 class. They are branded with the FCI logo. So this is a great, just additional marketing tool for y'all as well, to show that we have vendor partners in your local area. This is a great tool to keep in. You should have some type of folder or binder or something that you're taking in the home, even if they're not planning on using financing or payment options. It's in your back pocket, right? To use if you need it. And it looks professional. It's just, all in all, it's a great tool. So definitely keep this in your folder or binder, however you bring it in the home.
Absolutely. And then we also provide other marketing materials as well. So it's not just the brochure, whatever you need. If you are going to be doing some sort of, let's say like home and garden show or something like that, and would like to have some sort of signage in addition to the brochures to be able to, to hand out or have visible on your table, we can definitely create that for you. The example here that we have is a payment breakdown. And so a lot of times people will ask, okay, well, I'm financing this much. How much is my payment going to be? Because again, it's 0% interest for 12 months, but it is not deferred payment. So there will be a minimum monthly payment that your customers will have to make, since it is a credit card. There's just no way around that. So the minimum monthly payment is going to be 3% of the financed amount. So again, going back to the customer that's financing $10,000, they're going to have a minimum monthly payment of around $300. So this piece here will actually show 4 different scenarios for the different financing amounts and what those payments will be and what their actual ending balance will be after that 12-month period is over, so that they can see, if I just make the minimum monthly payments, how much am I going to actually be carrying over into year 2 when interest starts to kick in. So this might be a great tool to have on hand as well, if someone is kind of questioning, trying to figure out, can I make this monthly payment fit into my finances. So we can provide that to you. We can provide, I've done everything from signage that sticks outside a storefront to decals on a truck, things like that. So we're here to provide anything that you might need. You just let me know. I'll go to our marketing department, who typically will create everything in-house, and will print and ship everything to you at no cost to your business.
Perfect.
So a little bit about Advancial. Advancial is a credit union. We are headquartered out of Dallas, Texas. And then we also have branches kind of located around the United States. So we originally got our start as ARCO Employees Federal Credit Union. And so we kind of stuck with that oil and gas pipeline when we started figuring out our locations. So we have locations in Anchorage, Alaska, Oklahoma City, a bunch here in the Dallas area, a bunch in the Houston area, a couple in Lafayette, Louisiana, and our newest branch is opening out in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're no longer, just an oil and gas credit union. We've kind of expanded our branches, and so we still partner with companies to offer membership as a benefit to employees. But we also have some community charters in our Lafayette and Charlotte area. But additionally, if you don't have a branch that's located near you, we also partner with the Shared Branch Network. And so what that is a partnership of credit unions throughout the United States that allow members from other credit unions to come into their branches to do transactions. So if you live in California, and there's not an Advancial branch located near you, you can go to this coopsharedbranch.org website, type in your zip code, and find a credit union near you that will not have the Advancial name on it, but you could actually go into that branch with your ID, with your membership number. And if your customer needed to make a payment on their credit card, they could do so in that branch.
Nice.
So there's about 5,000 nationwide. So there should be, several locations in each major city that will allow your customers to still access their account if they need a brick and mortar location. So obviously we still have, online banking where they can log in online. We have an app to do mobile banking, things like that, that will allow them to remote deposit checks, make their payments easier, set up automatic payments, things like that they can do. So this is just for someone that may be more comfortable going to a brick and mortar location.
Nice.
This is our Allen branch. It's located in Allen, Texas, which is about 25 to 30 miles north of the Dallas area. They are the branch that handles all of the applications that are submitted through our customer financing program. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and they are also open 9 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturdays. And we do have a loan officer that is available on Saturdays to make decisions. So you can you can send in applications on a Saturday, and they should have a decision made as long as it's before that 1 p.m. cutoff time. And anything submitted on Sunday will be looked at on Monday morning. So you're still able to submit applications over the weekend as well. These are the three ladies that work at this branch. This is all of their direct contact information. Ashley Dambold is actually the branch manager there. So you'll be hearing from one of these three ladies anytime that there is an application that's submitted and a decision made on the application. They will walk you through the entire process. And their direct contact information is something that I always send to everybody as soon as you are set up as well. So that way you have their email address as well as their extensions on hand. So that way, if you're out and about, you always have their contact information with you. So they're going to be the best people. If you have questions about an application status, or if your customers have questions, regarding their account, things like that, they're going to be the ones that you want to reach out to. They will have more information than me, since they are our frontline staff. They have a lot more access to transactional software, lending software, things like that I don't have access to. However, if you have any problems getting in contact with someone, you definitely reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to facilitate that communication as well.
Christina, who would you prefer or recommend be their first point of contact? Would it be copying everyone on an email, or would there be one in particular, or will it be dependent on their location?
No, it won't be dependent on their location. I would suggest waiting until one of them reaches out to you. So they typically divide up the applications that come to them. So like I said, as soon as they have an approval and they reach out to you, at that point, I would be communicating with that representative throughout that process. Now, it may change the next time that you have an application. So your first time, dealing with Advancial, it may go to Angelica. But the second time that you have a customer apply, maybe Crystal that will have that application. So I would definitely say whoever reaches out to you, that's who I would work with throughout the entire process of getting you paid. Obviously, they're able to see any application that's in the system. So if you're having trouble reaching someone, whether they're out of the office or maybe at lunch or something like that, one of the other two can help as well. So there's no rhyme or reason to reach out to one or the other first. They'll all be able to help you, but I definitely recommend, if you've already started a line of contact with someone, to just continue to reach out to that person.
Perfect. Great.
And then, of course, course, you can always reach out to me for anything that you might need for questions, things like that. In my absence, my backup in my department is Jennifer Bell. Her email address is listed here as well. So if I'm ever out of the office, you'll see her in my out of office message and can, contact her with any questions that you might have. So I am so excited to be partnered with Floor Coverings International. I'm so excited for the amount of new partners that we've been signing up. We've had such a great response. And, this has been a great partnership so far. And I think our program is going to really fit well into the business model for franchise owners. And so, we're definitely here to help as much as we possibly can. So please feel free to reach out to us and to utilize all the resources that we give to you, because we want to make sure that we help make your business successful as possible.
Perfect. And Christina, there was one question I believe I had. I just wanted to make sure, because I know we have many owners in California, Virginia, Arizona,
Right.
Miami-Dade County in Florida, that need to go through the contractor's license process.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically in California and Arizona, I think also Nevada, I believe they have to display their contractor's license number on their marketing collateral, essentially anything that's customer facing. Does Advancial need that contractor's license number to get them set up, or no?
We don't need that. Again, this program, because there's not really an exchange, even though we're paying your franchise owner on behalf of the customer, there's technically no transfer of funds between Advancial and between the actual business.
Right.
So really our tie is to the customer. And so while obviously we definitely encourage for your owners to have everything set up for them to be compliant on a state level, because they're applying for a credit card, we don't really need any of that. We do some due diligence when we partner with merchants, just to make sure that we're not partnering with someone that has, committed habitual fraud, things like that. But because they're part of the Floor Coverings International company, we trust, all of your owners that are coming in. And so we don't really require anything like that to be presented to us in order to be able to partner, because this program really is more of a referral partnership between Floor Coverings International and Advancial. And so our main tie, once we've kind of moved through this initial process, is going to be based with that customer who is now a member with us.
Great. Perfect. I know that's a big contractor's license is a big topic. So
right.
Just make sure we touch base on that one. I believe that was the questions that I had. Are there any other, I don't know, top 3 things that you would recommend, or do you think we're good to go?
I think we're pretty much good to go. I know we're going to send you, all of the information that we have. So I definitely recommend going out to the module and looking at the materials that you will be posting to this module, because there will be some informational documents out there once merchants are set up with our program that they can utilize. If someone's having an issue with the application, things like that, there's some tips on there that I have created for merchants. So that way, if their customer is having a problem, they may want to check that first. And then just some other instructional things on how to utilize our merchant portal, those types of things. So I definitely recommend going out there and looking through all of those documents. But my biggest tip would just be to basically put all of our contact information somewhere where that's easily accessible. So that way, if you do need help with something, or if your customer needs help with something, you'll have that contact information readily available to give to them and directly contact us, instead of having to call our call center, because you may not get routed to the correct place if you call our call center.
Perfect. All right, Christina. Well, thank you for your time, and everyone be sure to go through the full financing module. There's some great content in here, and reach out to the appropriate contacts with Advancial should you have any questions. The slides that Christina showed today will be in the module, and also some additional documents that she mentioned. If you have any questions, just be sure to reach out. So thank you, Christina.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.